Conservatives don't want to compromise on DACA. The Trump administration on Sunday announced it's seeking several major changes to the country's immigration system in exchange for extending the Obama-era program known as Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA. The requests included additional crackdowns on sanctuary cities that protect illegal immigrants, reducing the number of incoming refugees, 10,000 more Customs and Border Patrol agents, and new initiatives curbing the number of unaccompanied immigrants who come to the U.S. illegally as children. Democrats already have said many of the White House's terms are off the table. Unfortunately, over the last several decades respect for the rule of law has broken down and immigration enforcement has been sacrificed for the sake of political expediency. This has made us less secure and it cannot stand, Attorney General Jeff Sessions said in a statement. Now President Trump has put forth a series of proposals that will restore the rule of law to our immigration system, prioritize America's safety and security, and end the lawlessness. These are reasonable proposals that will build on the early success of President Trump's leadership. This plan will work. If followed, it will produce an immigration system with integrity and one in which we can take pride. Perhaps the best result will be that unlawful attempts to enter will continue their dramatic decline. DACA essentially allows law-abiding illegal immigrants brought into the U.S. by their parents to live and work in the country without fear of deportation. The Trump administration argued earlier this year that federal courts were ready to strike down DACA as unconstitutional, which would put the future of so-called dreamers in jeopardy. Trump gave Congress 6 months to find a legislative alternative, then struck a framework deal last month with House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi of California and Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer of New York, leaving the door open for extending DACA. In a joint statement, Pelosi and Schumer said the White House's new list of requests goes so far beyond what is reasonable and fails to represent any attempt at compromise. The administration can't be serious about compromise or helping the dreamers if they begin with a list that is anathema to the dreamers, to the immigrant community and to the vast majority of Americans, they wrote. If the president was serious about protecting the dreamers, his staff has not made a good faith effort to do so, they said. The White House also asked to limit family-based green cards to spouses and the minor children of U.S. citizens and lawful permanent residents, in addition to creating a point-based system. And it called for boosting fees at border crossings, making it easier to deport gang members and unaccompanied children, and overhauling the asylum system. When crafting the administration's immigration principles, the president asked us to focus on measures that will assist the Department of Homeland Security's law enforcement personnel with what they need to enforce our immigration laws, secure our border, and protect American communities across this country, Department of Homeland Security Acting Secretary Elaine Duke said in a statement. Congressional Hispanic Caucus Chairwoman Michelle Lujan Grisham, DN.M., fired back, the president's draconian and anti-immigrant principles jeopardize the bipartisan, bicameral progress that has been made to pass a legislative solution that will protect nearly 800,000 dreamers. It is immoral for the president to use the lives of these young people as bargaining chips in his quest to impose his cruel, anti-immigrant, and un-American agenda on our nation. House Speaker Paul Ryan's spokesman Doug Andre said the House Immigration Working Group would review the list and consult with Republican members and the administration. Fox News' Jennifer Bowman, Jason Donner, Jake Gibson, Serafin Gomez, Chad Pergram, and the Associated Press contributed to this report. The president goes one-on-one with Pete Hicks to discuss the NFL controversy, Republicans' tax plan and how to move forward on repealing Obamacare. The White House is putting the finishing touches on an executive order that would expand health care options with allowing individuals to band together and buy insurance beyond their state lines, according to reports. The order, which is expected to be signed by President Trump next week, will be aimed at expanding insurance options for Americans who buy their own coverage or receive it through working at a small company, according to the Wall Street Journal. The new options would broaden instructions for agencies to explore loosening regulations and lowering premiums. President Donald Trump has long asserted that selling insurance across state lines would trigger competition that brings down premiums for people buying their own policies. He is expected to sign the executive order next week, likely on Thursday, a senior administration official told the Associated Press on Sunday. Under the president's executive action, membership groups could sponsor insurance plans that cost less because, for example, they wouldn't have to offer the full menu of benefits required under the Affordable Care Act, also called Obamacare. It's unclear how the White House plans to overcome opposition from state insurance regulators, who see that as an end run to avoid standards. There are likely to be legal challenges that could slow this effort down, said Larry Lovett of the nonpartisan Kaiser Family Foundation. The order was being drafted as Trump expressed his willingness to work with Democrats on health care after Republicans were unable to approve legislation that would have repealed and replaced Obamacare. The president said Saturday that he had spoken to Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer of New York to see if Democrats would want to collaborate with him on improving health care. He told reporters before departing for a North Carolina fundraiser that he was willing to consider a temporary deal and referred to a popular Republican proposal that would have the federal government turn over money for health care directly to states in the form of block grants. Schumer said through a spokesman Saturday that Trump wanted to make another run at repeal and replace, and I told the president that's off the table. Schumer said if Trump wants to work together to improve the existing health care system, we Democrats are open to his suggestions. It was unclear if the expected White House order could lead to changes sweeping enough and quick enough to help several million consumers exposed to higher premiums next year for their individual health insurance plans. It typically takes government agencies several months to carry out presidential directives, since they generally must follow a notice and comment process. Sign-up season for individual health insurance starts November 1 and ends December 15. Whether this executive order could impact the 2018 market is yet to be seen, since the health plans have created and priced their 2018 products already, and open enrollment begins in just 3 weeks, health industry consultant Robert Lazowski said. While nearly 9 million consumers who receive tax credits under the Obama-era law are protected from higher premiums, about 6.7 million other customers with individual coverage get no subsidies and will bear the full brunt of cost increases that reach well into the double digits in many states. Many in this group are solidly middle class, including self-employed business people and early retirees. Cutting premiums for them has been a long-standing Republican political promise. Similar alternatives have been promoted by Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, a Republican holdout during the health care debate. Senate leaders didn't bring the latest GOP health care bill to a vote because they lacked the votes to pass it. Click for more from the Wall Street Journal. The Associated Press contributed to this report. James Rosen reports on the online political feud. President Trump on Sunday ripped increasingly vocal critic Senator Bob Corker, saying the Tennessee Republican gutlessly dropped his re-election bid after begging for the Trump endorsement he never received. Corker begged me to endorse him, Trump said in a string of tweets. I said no and he dropped out, said he could not win without my endorsement. He also wanted to be Secretary of State, I said no thanks. Hence, I would fully expect Corker to be a negative voice and stand in the way of our great agenda. Didn't have the guts to run. Corker fired back minutes later, by tweeting, "It's a shame the White House has become an adult daycare center. Someone obviously missed their shift this morning." Later in the afternoon, Trump tweeted, "Bob Corker gave us the Iran deal, that's about it. We need health care, we need tax cuts/reform, we need people that can get the job done." Trump's attack followed Corker saying last week, amid reports that Secretary of State Rex Tillerson will resign, that Tillerson, Defense Secretary James Mattis, and White House Chief of Staff John Kelly are those people that help separate our country from chaos. Corker Chief of Staff Todd Womack on Sunday disputed Trump's portrayal of the endorsement issue. The president called Senator Corker on Monday afternoon and asked him to reconsider his decision not to seek re-election and reaffirmed that he would have endorsed him, as he has said many times, Womack told Fox News. Trump and Corker appeared to have a good relationship early in Trump's roughly first 8 months in the White House, even playing golf together in June with retired NFL quarterback Peyton Manning. However, that relationship appears to have fractured, at least publicly, in August, when Corker criticized Trump's handling of the violent Charlottesville protests, in which an alleged white supremacist fatally struck a woman with a car. Corker said Trump has yet to demonstrate the stability nor some of the competence needed to be successful. Trump on Sunday, in a separate tweet, argued Corker supported the Iran nuclear deal brokered by the previous Obama administration that Trump argues Iran is violating. He is also largely responsible for the horrendous Iran deal. Trump tweeted. Fox News' Jason Donner contributed to this report. Catholic nominee questioned about religion. Senator Dianne Feinstein on Sunday gave her strongest indication so far that she'll seek re-election, amid speculation the senior California Democratic senator will retire amid a potential 2018 challenge from her party's progressive wing. "I'm ready for a good fight. I've got things to fight for," the 84-year-old Feinstein said on NBC's Meet the Press. "I'm in a position where I can be effective. And, hopefully, that means something to California." Feinstein, who had a pacemaker implanted in January, joined the Senate in 1992 after winning a special election. She is now the oldest U.S. senator and would be 91 at the end of another 6-year term, if re-elected in November 2018. The senator has been pressed recently by reporters about whether she'll run again. "Well, we will see, won't we," she also said Sunday, when asked about another Senate campaign. Progressives are purportedly frustrated enough about her views on President Trump, DACA and single-payer health care to mount a challenge for her seat. She recently upset progressives when the Trump administration announced in September the dismantling of DACA, or Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, the Obama-era executive order that protects young illegal immigrants from deportation. Feinstein said she supports DACA, but acknowledged the administration's argument that the order is on shaky legal ground. Her analysis came several days after being criticized at a town hall meeting in San Francisco for expressing optimism about Trump becoming a good president. The remark resulted in so much Democratic backlash that she issued a clarification about being under no illusion about Trump. California Democrats until recently appeared on a nearly endless wait to rise in political circles, with Feinstein and fellow Democrat Barbara Boxer as the state's long-standing U.S. senators and fellow party member Jerry Brown serving 4 straight terms as governor. However, Boxer's retirement allowed former state Attorney General Kamala Harris last year to win that Senate seat. And Brown leaves in January after his 4th, and final, term. Feinstein also has continuously expressed reservations about the so-called single-payer health care plan championed by many progressives, including Vermont Independent Senator Bernie Sanders, a 2016 Democratic presidential candidate and a potential 2020 challenger. The Associated Press contributed to this report.